As the country song goes, when you're going through hell, just keep on going before the devil knows you're there, because you will come out on the other side, and you'll come out bigger and better. Just stay focused and believe in yourself.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to my show. My name is Tiffany Alexander, and I'm so happy to have you here with me today. I have an amazing guest for you, but let me tell you just a tiny bit about me and why the show is the show. Number one, I love people. I love networking with people. I love hanging out with new people. It's like the thrill and the unwrapping, like a Christmas present of a new human that I get to meet. And by all means, what ends up happening is I find out that they're so cool. I want to share their story with people. And so that's actually why the podcast was born. But what it looks like for you is if you're by chance hanging out with cool people, you just need to ask them. Just say, wow, this has been so fun. How do I get to know more people just like you? Or can you tell me somebody who you think that I need to know and that has just made my network grow tremendously? And then whenever you hang out with enough of these really cool people, you end up thinking to yourself, wait, you need to know someone that I know. And then you kind of just share the love with everybody. My podcast is a way for me to give back and to share some of the cool people that I've met, their story, their company, their awesomeness with you guys. So I hope you enjoy this episode. I have a great guest for you. I really love what he does because it helped me launch my real estate investing career years ago, and he's doing great things. So, with that, everybody, welcome Darren. Oh my gosh, Darren, thank you so much for coming and spending time with me. Do me a favor, tell everybody a little bit about who you are, or like what are you up to right now?
Yeah, no, well, first and foremost, thanks for having me, Tiffany. So I am a business consultant, Crosby Business Consultants, and I focus on the financial strategy side of things, with primary focus being I've got a funding platform where I can get a business owner anywhere from $25,000 to well north of 5 million, and then going hand in hand with that, helping them build their business credit profile tied to their EIN so that they can get access to capital without any personal guarantees, separating their personal assets from the business. So that's what I'm really focused on primarily.
This is really good stuff because this is, well, for me personally, whenever I started in real estate, I had to do this with someone's money. Why not someone else's credit or my company's credit? But this is just so much deeper than somebody like me who thought, wow, I need to borrow money to flip houses because all the business owners out there right now, depending on what it takes for you to get going, you're like the magical person that has the key to unlocking them to be able to really make it early on in their business. Um, Man, I love this so much that you have the ability to change the beginnings of someone's business or even the middle of it, right? The middle of it so that they can keep going on and on with what it is they're doing. This is something that I think just utilizing other people's money is a massive, um, it's a deal. It's a big deal for me.
Yeah.
And you have to be loud to tell everybody that this exists because if you aren't telling other people, then they don't even know that they're struggling in silence, right? Like if you didn't know that this existed, by all means, sit down, buckle up, and hang out to hear the rest of this episode because you're going to want to get to know Darren and hang out with him. Um, this company that you do all of this stuff with, who are your favorite clients that you like to work with to be able to change their business lending part?
Yeah, no, great question. Really can help virtually any industry. With that being said, do a lot of work with folks in trades, HVAC, plumbers, electricians, general contractors. I currently have two different restaurant concepts I'm working with, and three different startups, and and then also a cloud computing company. And I don't know anything about cloud computing, but I don't necessarily need to know anything about the industry. Just be able to give them some guidance on how to set their company up properly.
Man, that's fun to think I can help you. I don't need to know what it is you're doing. Let's just figure out get on
Yeah.
the road that I'm on. Um, let's do this. I want to unpack and unveil your journey for how it is that you got here. Let's start from the very beginning. Where are you from? And I mean, what did you want to do when you grew up, or like what you go to school for? Let's start there.
Yeah. Born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia, one of the few true natives of Atlanta. It always cracks me up when I meet somebody. They're like, I've been here 25 years. I'm basically a native. And I'm like, you're 63 years old. You haven't even been here half your life. Mm. No, I, I guess I kind of started my entrepreneurial journey when I was about 11 years old. The neighborhood we lived in had about 100 homes, and I had my mom print out some flyers and stuff mailboxes advertising $5 to cut grass and $2 an hour to babysit. Every now and then I drive when I'm in that area and I'll go check out the old neighborhood because it's more in town where they're doing a bunch of infill. And I drive through there and I'm like, holy cow, no wonder I've mowed so many darn lawns. Because all the lots are like acre lots. And this was in 1982 or 83, I apologize. And so as a kid, mowing, you know, like 30 lots a week,
Yeah.
$150. I thought I was Donald Trump. And so that was what I think sparked my entrepreneurial journey. Um, Ended up starting working in restaurants when I was 14 and put myself through college doing that at Florida State. Go Noles. Unfortunately, we had a terrible season this year. But and then after college, continued working in restaurants, just assumed I would own one. And then one day the light bulb went off where I was like, this lifestyle's for the birds. I'm working 75, 80 hours a week. I'm working all the hours my friends aren't working. And it was just work, sleep, work. And so then I got my professional journey started in the mortgage business, worked for a large company here in Atlanta for about 7.5 years, and then left them, took 5 people with me in July of '07, which about a month later, all the mortgage companies started going out of business. And I was sitting there thinking, what on God's green earth have I got myself into?
Right.
I had 4 young kids, a stay-at-home wife, but grew my mortgage company up to about 35 loan officers, 15, 20 operation support staff, and just got burned out on the mortgage business, got tired of managing people, and also the whole risk versus reward, because if there was a buyback on a loan, that was my $400,000 that was coming out of the bank account. And so, and then along the way, I owned, even though I said the restaurant business for the birds, I decided to invest in 3 Wingstop franchises here in Atlanta. Had those for about 10 years and sold those. And then in 2013, I bought a golf cart company. It was doing about $900,000 a year in revenue, grew it up to when we closed the books on 2019, just shy of 2.5 million. Loved the business, loved my customers, had what I thought was an absolutely phenomenal business plan. Unfortunately, I did not create the business plan thinking COVID. I had the largest rental fleet of golf carts in Atlanta. When I bought the company, there was about 100 carts in the rental fleet, grew it up to about 250. And 90% of my revenue was from rentals to all the festivals and events around town. And so March 6th of 2020, right as we were getting ramped up for our busy spring festival season, in the span of about 4 hours, I had every single festival, event, and summer camp cancel on me. And so I will never forget that date, just like every American will never forget September 11th. And I had a 20,000 square foot warehouse space. Landlord wasn't willing to work with me, and unfortunately had to bankrupt the company. And I'd file personal bankruptcy as well because I was personal guarantor on an owner held note as well as a $250,000 line of credit that I used to purchase the golf carts to add to the rental fleet. Even though I'd been a business owner for years, I just assumed you always had signed personal guarantees. And I didn't even know it. You were able to avoid that. And then came across what I'm doing now. I work under the umbrella of TJ Corporate Consultants, just as a 1099 guy running my own business. And when I stumbled across them, I was like, every business owner should do this, because you never know when something's going to go sideways or the business life cycle is going to throw you a curveball. And, with my golf cart company, if I had known corporate credit existed, my golf cart company would still be in business, because I would have had access to roughly $2 million line of credit that I could have just floated on for 2 years until the business came back. And, so I'm biased, but I think it's just smart business, because as I always say, nobody goes into business for themselves or starts a business saying, I'm just going to drive this car straight into the ditch. Everybody thinks it's always going to be up and to the right, and in 5 years, they're going to be on track to do $10 million a year in revenue. Well, I would love it if every business owner had that kind of success, but that's not always reality. And so now just try to bring all my experience, the home runs and strikeouts, to the table to help business owners make smart decisions surrounding their business.
Yeah. So whenever you had some of these forks in the road, what were, I guess, some of the influencing things going on in your mind? Or were there like mentors or coaches that were pushing you? Like, what were some of those moments that people can relate to you, what you're going through?
Yeah. No, I didn't really have any mentors or coaches. My parents are both attorneys, and the- you know, they their advice was, "Well, that stinks. What are you going to do? What are you going to do next?" And I was like, "Well, thanks, Mom. Appreciate that." But I've always approached everything with a positive mindset, and I also always have approached everything with, you can't lose sleep over something that you have no control over, and just keep on plugging along and figure out how to pivot and make things happen.
Yeah.
One of my best friends, when I had to shut down the golf cart company, he was like, Darren, how on God's green earth are you still able to go out and be social and positive and upbeat? And he's like, if that happened to me, I'd be holed up in my house. And I told him, I said, Mark, I didn't do anything wrong. I can't control COVID. I can't control the fact that on June 30th of 2019, we had done a little over 1.3 million in revenue. And when I shut the company down on June 30th of 2020, we were at $125,000 in revenue. I was like, you know, it just falls into the life happens bucket. And I just stay positive and keep on moving on.
I like your perspective in that so much because you're right, right? Like you weren't going to be able to know this or predict the future. Gosh, if we had a crystal ball, imagine where we could go with it.
Yeah.
Oh my dear.
Yeah.
So with these incredible talents that you have, you just said, you know what? Oh my gosh, how come I didn't know about this? What or was it someone in particular that led you to deciding you wanted to represent this company to do this too? Like what was that like when you went in with TJ?
Um, oh, I just stumbled across them on LinkedIn. Yeah. I stumbled across them on LinkedIn, reached out, had a conversation with Earl Adams, one of the founders. And the first words out of my mouth when I talked to him, I said, if I'd known this happened in 2013, my business would still be in business. And, then also where I, I think it's crucial for business owners to do this is even if you're brand new in business, you can still build up your business credit to get access to working capital lines of credit, credit cards, auto loans, you name it, because a bank isn't going to lend you any money until you've been in business for at least 2 years. And, so some of these small business owners, they find themselves kind of shucking and jiving with merchant cash advances and factoring loans, which, they sit there and they go, okay, great. I got $50,000. My payment's only $150 a day. That's doable. Well, that adds up. And if, you're doing $1 million a year in revenue, you're taking a big chunk out of your profit margin. And then when you actually go in and calculate what your cost of money is on that merchant cash advance, it could easily be 30, 35, 40%. And, and that ends up putting people out of business.
Right. Because I
You
mean,
know, I,
that margin is crazy, right?
yeah, yeah. And, like I had a client, this was about 3 weeks ago, and he was in a really, really tough spot. And unfortunately, I couldn't help him out. And he asked me, he said, well, I've been looking around on the internet. What about these merchant cash advances? And I told him, I said, that's your choice, but I'm not directing you to one because you will end up going out of business. And so I gave him some suggestions on what to do on his own until he could afford to move forward with me. And just told him, I said, look, here's step one, step two, step three. Do this stuff. It'll help kind of bridge the gap until you can afford to, you know, take advantage of my services and you'll still stay in business.
You've been doing this now for how long to represent being able to give people this
Well,
kind of credit?
about a year and a half.
Oh, that's cool.
I started my entrepreneurial journey, like I said, in 2007 as a official entrepreneur, not the 11-year-old lawn mowing entrepreneur.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like some people just understand that there are services that are needed and that I could be one of those people and that I don't have to have an LLC to go mow someone's lawn, right? Like you just
Right.
understand it. Which is great to see when that happens in really young ages. But in this, you could pick up yourself and just kick up your feet like, hey, I've crushed it. I've done this. But being able to start this business from meeting the owner and saying, I want to represent you. But at the same time, um, you could just hang up your hat and say, I don't need to, I don't want to do this anymore. Why do you keep showing up? Why do you keep reinventing yourself? And why do you keep going right now?
Great question. One, I'm one of those folks that I I'm going to be doing something work wise until they put me 6 feet under. Um, and two, I enjoy what I do, but first and foremost, I've always been a huge proponent of small businesses and trying to do what I can to support them. I wear name brand clothes just like everybody else. This top and this shirt are Peter Millar. I don't go to the Peter Millar store here in town. I go to a little men's boutique in downtown Alpharetta called Clothes Horse. Husband and wife own it. I'm probably paying $10 or $15 more for a shirt there than going directly to Peter Millar. But the cumulative impact of all their customers shopping, that makes a difference for that husband and wife that own it. Peter Millar, they're not missing me paying full retail with them. It's not even a rounding error. And so just really trying to help prop up small businesses and do what I can to support them because I've always been super passionate about them.
Yeah. I love also that we met through networking because that's just my love, right? And I love that you and I still continue to bump into each other because the rooms that I show up in, they're amazing. And so when I know I bump into it, I know that you're always hanging out with the right caliber of people, which I is another good thing that I see through the stuff that you're doing, that you really do continue to want to show up to just support those and small, medium businesses. Um, at this point, people might be thinking, wait a minute, I am curious what Darren's doing. How do I find you? What are your favorite ways for people to come find you and then get time with you?
LinkedIn, obviously. And then my website is darren.tritouring.ai. That's the business credit building platform that we have. And they can contact me there and hop on my calendar and schedule time with me there as well.
Let's do this. I want to ask like two more questions. The first one is like, what's on the horizon? What have you got going on that's coming up?
I've got a partnership that we're launching, wrapping up the last call tomorrow with a company called Profit Inc. Um, and a friend of mine, Carrie Claiborne, works there, and they've got a super cool profit software. Uh, that the first demo Carrie showed me of it, I won't include the expletive that I said to him, but it is hands down the most amazing business software slash tool I've seen, where it can, in about 3 minutes, it can go very granular on the finances of the business and how they stack up to the competition in their industry. And so we're launching, like I said, we have our last call tomorrow, and then we're going to launch that, and super excited about that because it's just, another arrow in the quiver to help small business owners.
I love that. So that means you guys, if you're seeing this is the end of 2025, this is going to be pushed out beginning like January of 2026. Please go follow Darren and reach out to him so that way you can hear all the amazing things that he's going to keep at his fingertips for all these small business owners that he's constantly looking for resources to help you guys. Let's do this. I want to ask you the last question. What are your golden nuggets? Like what do you want to leave as your words of wisdom for everybody listening today?
I would I would say stay stay positive, stay focused. Um, you're going to hit a bump in the road in your business. That's just reality. And there was a saying I came across years ago when I worked for the large mortgage company. It was a little motivational poster in the hall on the way to the restroom. And it said, success isn't forever and failure is never fatal. And the first time I read that, I was like, holy cow, that is just, and I think that's when I kind of adopted the mindset of you can't lose sleep over stuff you can't control. And, as the country song goes, when you're going through hell, just keep on going before the devil knows you're there, because you will come out on the other side, and you'll come out bigger and better. Just stay focused and believe in yourself.
Absolutely. Those are phenomenal words of wisdom, and I couldn't agree with you more. My gosh, this has been great, Darren. Thank you so much for your time. I'm so glad we got to like unpack
Thank
your
you.
story. And literally, you guys could just get on his calendar and be like, please tell me how you can help me. You'd be surprised what he knows and who he knows. So, thank you guys for watching this episode. And go ahead and reach out to Darren, get on his follow list so that way you can take a peek at everything he's working on. And again, thank you for your time. I'm excited that you got
Hey,
to
thanks
come.
for having me.
Absolutely. Everybody, go have a great day. Talk soon.
Cheers.